Hey everybody. So this is going to be for Scorpio, for May. So I've decided to switch up the spread. Let me know what you think about this because, some people don't dig change. I like it personally. I think it's interesting. It keeps it interesting. But so how this reading works is, and for those of you who haven't watched my channel before, my readings are usually based in spirituality and like our own self growth and self work, so we can have a better relationship with ourselves, so we can have better relationships with other people. Now, how this works is this card represents your inner child, what it needs to say to you. This is your present self and your future self. This card is going to represent parts of your ego, a part of your ego that you need to drop. This is going to be what strength you have now during this time, and this is your advice, which actually flipped over in the face up while I was shuffling, which this advice didn't want to come out either. It was like, it took a while for it to come out. Which, by the way, and we'll speak more on this later, of course, you received the Ace of Cups and the Star. All water, my Scorpios. Being at peace, healing. It's awesome. Alright, so your inner child. What does your inner child need to say to you, Scorpio? Your present self. That's good. Your future self. That's beautiful. What part of your ego do you need to drop? What is your strength in this moment? In this time frame? Okay. So, I just found the lapis stone by my feet too, and that's all about it's like ultimate protection. Like supposedly that's what in some old religious story, I don't know if it's Jesus that wore it in his supposedly in his chest plate. I can't remember. It's a strong stone. You might want to get a piece of it. Okay. Your inner child is saying, some of you moved when you were a kid. Some of you moved when you were 6, but others of you, there was just like, like your life was doing whatever it was as a kid, and then all of a sudden something changed. And whatever it was that changed, like probably because you were a child, you didn't have a chance to be able to mentally actually sort that out in yourself. You just sort of pushed it aside so that you could keep going, because that's kind of what you do when you're a kid. And I see that you have help on this journey too, like to be able while you sort it out. And I see you being able to reach the shore, but it's kind of a slow process. This is a slow moving card. So it's also, your inner child is also saying to take it easy with your thoughts while you go through this process. Also, I just keep seeing, like, the child, like, I'm seeing this as the mother, and this is the child, which, with the inner child, I mean, come on. And the mom and like, like, a lot of you are comfortable with your mom, but you just don't know about your dad, and you don't know, like, what, like, the direction that, because, see, you can't see their faces, like, they're not really focused on where this person's taking them. So I also want to say that your inner child is telling you that your thoughts get away from you sometimes. And there's something that you need to mellow out about that. And I think that it really did, for a lot of you, have to do with some sort of move that shook up your stability in a sense. Okay, in your present self is beautiful. You have the Strength card, which shows me that your present self is telling you like that you have the ability to really handle any situation with grace. Even this one. But really any situation. But her particularly facing the past a bit. It's like I feel like these two go together, and you notice here like this yellow. It's just a bit more pale than this, and it shows me like as you go through this process, and can continue to harness this own inner strength that you have to be able to achieve this, no matter how long it takes. Your world's going to become brighter. And in truth, not to skip ahead, but the future self is like, end of cycle, now I can begin again. I mean, she's looking at the past too. And she's naked. That means she's vulnerable. She feels good in her own skin. She feels good about how she processed the past, what she did, and now she's ready for a new beginning. And of course, you know, I'm just saying she because she's a woman. You know what I'm saying. So your future self is also saying, don't be afraid of this process, because you're going to achieve it. The world's right here. Strengthen the world. It's like you sort through it, continue to really be confident in your abilities to handle situations, and then from that point on, you're just going to have that new structure within yourself. Which is great. Really great. Okay. So what you need to drop in your ego. Some of you don't want to admit that you have a thought, like there's a thought process and there's a way that you think about something that blocks your emotions and or blocks you from being like in touch with them so much, whether that's you or your environments, but I believe that it's you. Because the 6 and the 2 make an 8, and the 8 is another woman with a blindfold. Another person that's like not really looking at a situation for what it is. I mean, she doesn't have to stay here. She doesn't have to hold those swords. She doesn't have to wear that blindfold either. But she does all of these things even though it makes her life more uncomfortable. It makes her more uncomfortable. You know, the ego is the thing that wants us to fail. It puts fear in us so then we don't try. But the ego isn't even a real thing, you know? It's even easier than like batting a fly off your arm. Because it's not even, it's nothing. Nobody controls you but you. Nobody. Now, beautiful. Your strength right now is that you have the ability, and I love that just the strength being above strength. It's awesome. The strength that you have right now is that you are very dedicated at your like what you're creating right now, like you're in your tangible physical world. Like a lot of you are probably doing really good at your, you know, with your work at in your job, or you're creative aspects, what, you know, if you're an artist or something of that nature. Um, it also, I mean, the Eight of Pentacles in it, you know, this kind of spread is really great because, especially within your strength section, is that you have the ability, you have the power to be able to achieve all these things. And actually, in essence, you have, this equals time too, the Pentacles. So, like, you have time, plenty of time. It's just like how, actually, that's a good question right now. I believe the stronger, you will be more strong and feel more strong and feel like you have more time when you really start assessing what you do with your time. Like, how much time do you spend a day meditating? Do you even meditate like 5 minutes a day? Or are you always consumed by the world that we've now been programmed to be manipulated by, which is, you know, cell phones and televisions and music? I mean, obviously, some distractions are great ways to incorporate different things into our life, but I think with all these new electronics, it's really important to remove ourselves from them for a while. Like, you know, you see here, he's like, the town's way back there. Like, he walked all the way up here to his shop, away from everybody else, so that he could focus on what it is that he needs to work on. Now, the advice. Excuse me 1 second. The advice. The advice is that you can't heal if you don't believe that you have a problem. A. And that doesn't mean that you don't see parts of your life as difficult. I mean more so that, like, if you think you can just deal with it, then you will. And it won't change. Because you're not asking for it to change. You're not working for it to change. So because you're not taking the steps, it won't happen. You'll just sit in this water in this boat, and just let whoever this is, you know, keep rowing you around in circles because you haven't taken up the oar yourself to row your boat where you want to go within your mind, so that you feel more stable. So that you start making clearer decisions about the way that you're running your own world, so that you can truly succeed and achieve what it is that you've been dreaming for, like, your whole life. Like, what is your ultimate dream life, really? Like, if you could write it down, like, and it doesn't matter. I'm not sure, like, the money in the bank, whatever, you know, you want to be like $1 million, but really, like, what would it be? What's your dream job? What's your dream house look like? Who do you want for a partner? Do you want, would you like a dog? Do you like wood floors? Do you prefer to travel, or would you like to stay, you know, do you want to live in a metropolis or, you know, the middle of the woods? I don't know. Just write it down and then, you know, really focus on it. And I see here too, both these women are naked. And the world actually came before the star. So it's like, once you do this process, you'll come to a close with this world. There's a new opportunity. Like, you see here, I like it even better. Like, this close here, once you finish this line, like, there you go. Completed. Really great. Who doesn't love completing things in a positive way? For yourself and your life. But this is the advice as well. I'd like to say that There's some parts of yourself that you're not exposing to others. And in the future you will. And I think because she has cups here, it really has to do with the way that you, there's no cards of, swords can represent communication, but none of these are talking. So what it shows me is that in the future, once this is complete, you're going to be able to not only A, feel more comfortable in your own skin, but B, you're going to be able to communicate your emotions differently. In the way, and when you do express them, like, it's going to be because you really feel at peace with yourself, no matter what happened in the past. Alright, Scorpio, I'm wishing you the best. Let me know what you think about these, and I can't wait to see you again. Till next time, peace.